Where am I from? Originally, I'm from Scotland. Right now, I'm in central Slovakia, right in the heart of Europe.
Wow, awesome. I'm in Ireland. I'm all over, I'm in Northern Europe.
Dublin,
Ireland.
You're in Dublin, Ireland. Okay, super cool. Super cool. Have you got a podcast, or what's your story?
Yeah, well, I started to use this app because I think it's pretty interesting because it allows because it allows to do stuff like this. And so, like for example, for me, that I work in the music business, and I usually do lectures, at the end, or I never had a podcast. So because to me, it's a one-way thing, and it's not really exciting. But this is a game changer. It's a completely different experience because I'm not recording a podcast. I'm talking to you. It's a lot better. So tell me what's the story, what you're up to apart from the oil.
I'm hanging out on my balcony cleaning stuff. Actually, that's what I'm doing right now at this moment. What else is going on? I got a couple of podcasts going on. Got a business coaching going on. I got an interest in the music business. So I'm interested in finding out what people are into, what people are interested in, and basically with my work.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
My work is that people take the next step in their lives, and so connecting through this is really interesting because there's people all over the world, a lot of different things, and they're all looking to, take the next step, get to the next level, get to...
Oh, yeah, no, totally. I see, what is Chatterbox?
What is Chatterbox? Chatterbox is an accident that happened yesterday. Okay, that's...
Is it a beautiful accident? Is it a happy accident?
It's one of those, this works like this. Okay, I'm in the technological world and I cannot change any of the parts of the system. But what it is I have a business podcast, and that's set up through my desktop system, yeah? And when I connect to Anchor through my mobile phone, like I'm connecting now, it says that there is no business podcast, and I have nothing on their system, which is complete nonsense. So, in order to take these recordings and to either build something or do something with them, I had to create a completely new account and work out how the system through the mobile application works. And that's a long way of describing. That's what Chatterbox is. It's just conversations. I only put it together like yesterday with conversations I had with people over the last few days to have a little record of talking to interesting people in interesting places.
That's great. That's very good. Yeah. What is your involvement with music business? Like, why music business?
Right. Okay, right now I'm not involved because I'm kind of retired from that. That's the way I describe it.
Okay.
I did my duty, and then I was like, I'm getting out of here. I had a, how to describe it, promotions company that worked and doing tours and setting up concerts, working with festivals. Basically, it worked with around more than 500 bands from about 50, 60 different countries. And I did that for 8 years, basically. So that was my project. Which also started by accident as well. It wasn't like, I want to do this. I just found myself in a place where people were coming to me asking for help, and I was like, okay, what do you need?
Yeah. That's how some of the best stuff happens, there's no push, it's completely spontaneous. And then that's where you find your natural skills.
Well, yeah, it sort of it started on a beach in Croatia, right?
Nice. I love it.
It was one of those kind of serendipitous conversations where it's like, okay, what would you really want to do? Well, I probably want to do this, and I can help these people with that. And okay, what do we need to do it? And we need this and that. And how are we going to get that? And it was like, and it just kind of grew from a short conversation. And like 8 years later, I was organizing tours around Europe, and I'm like, this is getting out of control.
That's good, but you loved it, like you enjoyed it, the experience.
It was, but it was tiring, right? I mean, the music, the business side of things,
bookings, yeah.
It's
That's cool.
everybody, that's the hard side of it. If you look at it, maybe putting the music together, getting a band together, rehearsing and stuff, that's one thing. But the gigs and lining up the tours and getting the next dates and finding people that want to work with you, and if you're an unknown and unsigned band, then who wants to take a risk, and you get the picture, right?
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with all that. I've been in the music industry since I was 16, and
Okay.
I'm heading to my 40s now, working with both major labels. I still work with major labels, and I have my own independent music publishing company, open since '99, so it's a long time. And so I'm very familiar about all that. And what I find extremely exciting about the contemporary times, and challenging too, is that there is a lot more freedom to do pretty much whatever you want, but the infrastructure is gone. So it's not like any other industry or job where you can say, okay, I have a band, and I either gonna go independent, or I'm gonna try to get a record deal, and then I get a record deal, and then I sell albums. That infrastructure is gone nowadays. There's a lot of individuals and a lot of different situations around the world, and everybody's kind of struggling and trying to find ways to get into non-musical stuff like marketing or sales, which when you're a musician, I think that you should focus on the music.
Yeah.
And then and not like waste time on social media and stuff like that. It doesn't work even in the end too. But there's so many tools, there's so much stuff happening that when you're in art, you kind of get overwhelmed.
Like, there's so many people doing so much stuff now, right? I mean, it's let's say producing and getting your music out to people is easier today than it was say 20 years ago, right? And with so many people creating so much stuff, is there any space in the market? I mean, because people are, okay, let's say few people are buying records anymore, right? Because everyone's downloading stuff, right? There's more music than anybody knows what to do with, than you could ever, if you like rock music, it's like there's a billion rock bands on the planet who just put their stuff on the internet for free, and you could spend forever listening to their stuff. Why should you listen to something else? What is the mindset of somebody in the business right now with all this going on?
No, totally. Well, I mean, it's to me, it all goes back to the old school approach. So you got all this technology, you got all this stuff which is great, and you use it, but they're just tools. When it comes to networking with people, it all comes down to relationships, and it comes down to good live bands, good live act, good music, good songs, and then you put everything else on top of it. But you don't, you can't manufacture. It's not anymore the '90s, where you had, the boy bands, the pop stars. I mean, nowadays people, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. It's like I'm drinking Coca-Cola or Pepsi, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm aware that this is just trash, or, if I want to go and listen to music as non-entertainment, I know, but there are certain situations and certain people doing that. So it's kind of like a way in between where people are passively aware about the difference between entertainment and art, but at the same time they like to be sedated and say like, okay, give me crap, give me junk, just for the sake of it.
Yeah. So where's the money being made right now? Is it in merchandise? Is it in special sales of albums? Is it in tours? Is it in ticket sales?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about the market as the world, there are places in the world where CDs, for example, still sell a lot, like Japan.
Okay.
And there are other places where you can make money only on touring, like the United States. So in my opinion, it's not the problem about the money, it's the problem about how they're distributed. So there is a lot more people. There is, it's like if you go and try to get a job at McDonald's, you're going to have to fight, with 500 people for a local McDonald's. Like everybody wants to get in because the skills required, they're very different from being, say, I don't know, an architect or an engineer, which you will have to go to school, pay, blah, blah, blah. If you're in US, get into debt, etc. Now, the situation for music is that nowadays, music is not perceived as something, necessarily related to skills. It's not about like, oh, I'm a great guitar player, I'm a great musician. It's about, are you a great entertainer or you're a bad entertainer? So in order to be a good entertainer, you don't even necessarily have to go, to college, for music or, or acting or stuff like that. So you have this huge pool of people, screaming out for attention. But not all of them, they should be there in the first place. And the second problem is that the amount of people that they actually pay for entertainment and for music, being something not as necessary as like food, shelter, or education, it makes the whole economy a lot more complicated and a lot less sustainable. So basically, there's too many people saying and claiming they're musicians, artists, or the great producers. And the truth is, it's still hard to write a great song. It's still hard to be a great performer. It takes time. It's not, something that happens overnight. While the general perception is completely the opposite. So people think, oh, you go on TV, you become famous. If you are on X Factor, you must be a great singer. You must be a great entertainer. Or you're just lucky, so you deserve, to be labeled as an entertainer. So all this kind of stuff is kind of like, changes the way, music is perceived by people. And coming back to your question, yes, there's a lot less money involved in the entertainment industry than it used to be, but also it's a lot less well distributed. It's not that fair. Not that it used to be fair in the past, but at least in the past you kind of have a structure, so you can either be signed or assigned. You could either be a local actor or a national actor. You're either a cover band or or an original band. Nowadays, people are trying to do a little bit of everything. Like you're playing guitar and they're like, oh, I'm a session player, I'm a producer, I do hip hop, I do originals. Yeah, but who are you? How much time do you invest in your identity? This stuff is so old school. It's so human level. That I think, I see, and I think that people are kind of like losing touch with reality. And they're more falling in love with the idea of what is the music world, rather than dealing with the reality, which is still requires, like you need to put energy, you need to put time into it. And it might not even happen, because in the end, if you don't have the talent, it won't happen. I mean, you might become a great sound engineer, or you become like a great session player, but not necessarily going to be a pop star or a historical jazz player. That's a completely uncontrollable thing, which is most of the time up to the audience actually, rather than the industry.
Yeah, I think it's also about having or developing multiple skills, not just playing well the instrument, not just singing well, but understanding how the production works, understanding how the marketing works, be able to fit into the business where there's a space for you, because you might want something, but maybe that space is not available, and you've got to sort of take what you can get, especially if you're not a signed artist. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Graham, sorry to cut you, but apart from the fact that we're like almost 15 minutes in, so the recording is gonna chop. But I'd like to talk to you. My email, so I'll give you my email, it's public. It's it's also on the profile here. It's info@gd78music.com. GD78, as in like, Green Delta 78 Music. It's my publishing company, licensing company. That's my music business.
That's super cool. Hey, it's nice to chat about music. It's nice to get the business aspect about it, because there's so many people creating art that's on music and say they're artists and musicians, but there's a difference between what people say and the actual real world, right? And it is a business at the end of the day, which means you've got to work hard at it, and there's a lot of competition out there.
Absolutely. But still, if you get the talent, and if you have a bit of luck, which is the right place at the right moment, you're gonna get exposure at the latest.
Yeah, it's about taking it step by step, and if you get an opportunity, take it, and if you don't, just enjoy the ride, right? Just enjoy the process while you're
absolutely, yeah.
Hey,
music is life, so it's about the journey in the end.
Yeah,
it's not like being working in an office. Yeah, it's different.
So, it says here the maximum recording time for co-host is 15 minutes. It's time to wrap up. Uh,
Yeah. All right. It was great to
I hope
talk to you.
again at some point. Okay.